Okay, today we're going to demo how to take the maxillary impression on a typodont and also how to do a double pour. So we always start with the mandibular first, maxillary goes last when you're taking both at the same appointment. Maxillary you do last because of the sensation of the alginate dripping towards the back and touches that gag reflex, okay? All right, so we've already set up, everything's set up here. And now what we're going to do is take the impression with fast set, which takes 45 seconds to mix. I have my tray, come over here, and I check to see where the teeth are going to be. This is how I like to do it. Some people with a typodont like to do it like this. Up to you on how you do. I just like to do it like this because then I can see where the impression is going. Okay, so once I've done all that, we go powder to water. Start off slow so that it doesn't go everywhere. Once you start off slow, you start getting it all in there. Then you can increase your speed. You can increase your speed because you've already brought in all of the alginate with the water. And now you can start mixing and rotating your bowl, making sure to flip both sides of your spatula. Okay, I didn't turn on my timer, although I know the consistency, and it only takes 45 seconds. As you can see, I'm using both sides of the spatula. I'm turning, and I clean it. It's already done. I take some of my alginate. As you can see, it's a little runny. The weather and the water will affect this. Okay. Now, the book says to load posterior. I prefer to load from the front, from the deepest part of the impression tray. Okay, scoop out more. As you can see, it's really runny, and this is why we always do this one last. So the weather could be affecting it today. Okay, bring my impression. I have my make sure to go up. I'm going to turn it over just because of the fact that we have that peripheral roll that we want to get, and because it's so runny. So I had to change my plans. I had to be flexible and change my plans due to the fact that it was runny. Okay, so I press down, make sure it's seated, make sure it's coming out straight, and it moved a little. Okay, so now I leave it like that. I don't touch it anymore. I come over here. I start cleaning up, trying not to move the impression because of the fact that it's so runny. Normally, if this were a patient, you'd want to leave some on your spatula or on here so you can see when it's hard, it's when it dries. Although the temperature of the mouth is going to set faster than outside because of the heat inside the mouth. Okay? So I clean because I want to be ready for my next one if I had to. Okay? If not, if I've already taken the mandibular, then, which you should have, but if I have to retake the maxillary, then I clean up and I have it ready to go again if I have to. I have some wet paper towels off to the side in case I need them. I also have my microfiber towel. Okay, come over to this one. Make sure none of this alginate goes into the sink. Okay, make sure none of the alginate goes into the sink. Come over with my microfiber towel. I do a really good cleaning. Afterwards, you'll use a clean lube for the bowl really clean it really well. Okay. Use this to dry. To wipe that down. Up your area because you don't want any alginate around when you do the stone. I come feel this to see how it is. Feels like it's ready. So if it's already ready on the outside, that means it's already ready here. And you can see how runny it was by looking at how it just went everywhere. If it would have been thicker, I would have been able just to do this and catch the vestibule. Because it was so runny, I had to change the plans. So that's just part of being flexible and adaptable and everything else. Regardless, if this were a real patient, you would have had them lean forward anyway. Okay, so I come over here, I remove the impression. Okay, the first impression that comes out for you guys, you're going to pour. Now I want to come over here, and here is the vestibule. This is the vestibule, and this is all extra. This is the model, part of the typodont. So I don't need that. I want to cut right along the vestibule. I don't want to cut the vestibule off. Now, and remember, with a real patient, you won't have to cut anything because you won't have this. Only the typodont has it because it's a typodont. And like we said in class, the real patient, the material won't go any further than that. The nice thing about it is that it tells you what line to cut. See? Again, this is it right there, right along that line. And you just careful when you cut it. It shouldn't take you very long to cut. Okay? Alright. So next thing I would do, if this were a patient, okay, of course I wouldn't have to trim it, but this is a typodont. I would still rinse it, disinfect it, and wrap it in a wet paper towel, put it in a plastic bag. But as I said, you guys will, instead of doing both at the same time, you're going to do one at the same time, one at a time. So you would just rinse it, disinfect it, wrap it in a paper towel, and come over here after it's already been approved, after I've seen it, okay? Okay, so now we'll pretend it's already. If you will just run this under the water for me real quick, Elizabeth. If you're doing mandibular, you're going to use a tongue. But I'm doing maxillary, so there's no tongue. It's palate. So yes, you do it just like you normally would do. Thank you. So now I bring the dental vibrator up here. My scale is out of the way, either at the top. For me, it's in my box underneath. Okay. Now I'm going to do a double pour. So normally it'd be 30 of water to 100. But with a double pour, I'm doubling it. So it's going to be 60 to 200. Okay. So I already have my bowl. I already measured my bowl. I already put in my 200, my water's already ready to go. I have my glass slab here. This is the one I like mixing with. This is the one I use to form my base, my patty. Okay, so I'll put it off to the side. And I have my tray tree right here. Okay, and I have my extra cup of water so I can keep my spatula clean. I have my wet paper towels that I'll need to keep things clean. All my alginate that I just used is out of the way. Now I'm only dealing with stone, and that's what you guys have to do. You have to divide and keep your area clean and stuff, okay? All right, so I have my paper towel, my tape, and I have my extra stone here that I'll need. Okay, all right, so my water's measured. I'll put it in. Okay, again, I start off slow so that it doesn't go everywhere, and it's going to start to look like there's less water than stone. But what you have to do is you just have to keep mixing it and making sure to incorporate, make the stone absorb absorb the water. So you have to move all the way to the bottom and make sure, see how all that powder is down there? You want to make sure that you just keep mixing it. I'm turning the bowl the same way I showed you the technique for alginate. I'm making sure, turning my spatula, seeing that there's still stone down there. So I'm making sure I'm using the whole bowl, and I'm taking all the all the stone with me, so that it's not just sitting there on the bowl at a different consistency. Okay? Once I see that all the powder is gone from the bottom, okay, and it's mixed, I turn it over. And if it's like this, the consistency where it stays on the spatula, and I flip it over, it's good to go. Okay? I make sure to gather everything in here. I start off again with just very little. I put it on the dental vibrator. Can you plug that in for me, please? Sorry, a little technical difficulty. Thank you. Okay, I start off in the corner. Make sure there's no water in there. Start off in the corner, and I make sure I have it run and fill up each little tooth. Okay, if I need to add more, bring some more until it just comes right out. Okay, so you hear the vibrator sounds like that? You want it to be quiet. Okay, I don't really like keeping this very long on here because then you get bubbles. So come here, take some more, add some more, and I keep rotating it, lifting it so it goes up. Come here, add some more. Okay. Once I get it to where I want, where it's all the teeth are covered, okay, shake it just a little. Come back here. I smooth it out. You would do the same thing if you were doing mandibular, okay? Except mandibular, for pouring, on a real person, you wouldn't have a tongue space. So you'd have to use a paper towel or something else. And that's how you want to leave it, nice and smooth, not too much time. Come over here, put it in the tray tree. And I've already checked, so I knew which one I could go into. So always check to see, where can I put this tray? I come over here and I clean my spatula because I don't want anything to harden on it. And I know how much time I have to mix. I don't want it to start getting hard. So I'll just clean up just really quick on there. Okay. Now, I know that the consistency of what's in the bowl and what's in the tray is the same. So I need to add just a little to this to make it a little stiffer. Now, it's one of those where you just got to play with the consistency on it, okay? It's just a little. Okay, and you'll see that it absorbs right away. And I'll probably try that before I put any more in. If I put any more in, it may just start to harden on me. Okay, so I come back here. Now I add that I think it still needs a little bit more. This is where it gets really tricky because you don't want to put too much. Notice how much I have in here, and I just sprinkled just a little. But even just that little is going to get it to be a different consistency, okay? Now when we do mandibular with the typodont, we do leave the tongue space. Well, with a person, there is no tongue space that you leave with a real person. It's just a void, okay? The other one, we make the tongue with the alginate. Here, you can't, so you have to use something to leave that space, okay? So this is how it should look, where it just plops down, okay? Now, what I want to do, because I know I have a little bit of time, is I come over here and I take my wet paper towel and I automatically come here and I wipe down my spatula, making sure that I don't leave anything there to harden, okay? Because that's where you're gonna, all your time's gonna go to cleaning that. I come over here because I know I still have a little time, and I'm moving fast, so don't think you can move slow. So that's why we've been talking about, managing your time, preparation. I just don't want this to stay hard. So what I can do, see how I've cleaned it out? Now I can put my water in my bowl if I want to instead of my cup, okay? So I'll need that water, but at the same time I'm also keeping the bowl soaked. I'm soaking the bowl, okay? Now I come here with this long one. Now, I don't really like mixing with this long one, but I do like using this, okay? And I can feel it. If it goes down, it's still soft. When it starts to get really hard, really firm, you're running out of time. So you got to be able to measure. You have to be able to go like this to do your base, your patty, and flatten it out a little, okay? Now, I know enough to know that it's a maxillary, so there's going to be a point in the front, flared out, heels and back, because I want to try to get this shape as much as I can, so if I don't have time to go to the trimmer, I can still give a really good presentation by the way I'm making the base, okay? The trick is, don't do it too fast, don't do it too soon, because it'll flatten out like a pancake and you won't have a base. And then also, don't wait too long, because then it starts to harden and then both don't adhere, they don't stick, okay? They don't blend. You have to keep your spatula wet. See how I have this bowl and I keep doing this? You have to keep your spatula wet, okay? So I look to see if it's almost where I want it. And basically you're just feeling, if your finger can go down, when it's just already like it doesn't want to, and it, if it's hard, you waited too long. But if it still goes down a little, like that, you're good. So you just have to keep checking it. Keep checking it. Also, if the more you do this, if it doesn't spread out, then you know it's already getting to the point where you're going to have it where